Hello, everybody. Hi, Jack. Hi, Puneet. Hi, Tolia. Hi, Kanksha. Hi, Mitesh. Yes, there will be a recording. Is my voice audible? Just wanted to know if my voice is clear enough. Just say yes, and I'll know that the voice is reaching out to you. Is the voice now audible? Just checking with everybody. Is the voice now audible? क्लोज कर सकता हूँ यार.
तू कर सकता है विदाउट
Hello, everybody. This is a test message.
मेरे डिवाइस पे कर सकता है
योडा टीपी लिंक से करूँ.
ये मेरे डिवाइस से कर सकता है
डेटा फाइल्स है नहीं. Hello, everybody.
कोई $1 बैक मांग रहा है
Hello, everybody. This is a test message. Apologies for the minor delay in the testing part. Everything was all right, and it was just because of small snag. So just hmm?
Check.
Hi, Dinesh. Is the voice okay now? Hi, Nicholas. Hi, Dinesh. Uh, I understand something. Let me check. Everything is all right. For the rest of you, can you hear me? Hello, everybody. Let me hear out some green signal if you are getting the voice message. Okay, I'm getting some signals that yes, the voice is audible. Hi, Yogesh. Kingshuk, hi. Cool. So, apologies for the minor delay. I will try to make it up. And a very, very warm welcome to everybody who's joined, taking out their time from work, from holidays to join this program for presentation for a quick webinar on business presentation writing. Hi, Jack. We have just started. So, it's going to be all okay from here on. So, my friends, the agenda. I'll just quickly tell a brief about myself. Some of you may have seen my video. My voice would have been there. I'm Rishabh, and I'm a chartered accountant. I started my career with KPMG Assurance Division, and then I went on to trade interest rate futures on London Stock Exchange. After that, I joined JP Morgan in the investment banking division, and that's for the first time I actually started serious writing and making serious proposals on PowerPoint. Right. So I'm going to share my experience of last 7 years. The last 7 years have been interacting with people all across Big Four professionals, reading their reports, giving my insights, and that is what I'll be sharing with you today. So let's begin. I'm going to share my screen. So in few seconds, you will see a PowerPoint slide being coming up on the screen. We start formally, officially, business presentation writing. Now, friends, I have talked to several people from different industries, and while writing, they came across several challenges. So, I'm going to classify those challenges of business presentation, writing, and proposal making into three different categories. The first one is going to be iterations. When you are given a certain task to write a proposal, you think, you then write, you then edit, and the cycle of writing and editing continues multi times before you get to the final draft. If you have come across a similar challenge, please say yes so that I'll know that I can help you with whatever I've learned over the last few years. So in the comment box, simply say yes, and I'll know you have come across the same challenge, that first you start writing, editing, the cycle continues until you come to the final draft. Well, my target is that this cycle I'll help you shorten. So, for example, you start with the thinking process, you'll write, you'll edit, and you'll come to the final draft. If this is what you want, I'm going to share some insights on how can you achieve this. Next, before I get into details of all these three areas, I want to talk about the impact. So, has it ever occurred to you that when you present certain proposal, all the ideas go haywire? They are not connecting right to each other in a logical sequence. Of course, if you can achieve that feat, this will be far greater impact in your proposal, in your presentation. The third thing that I'm going to take up in terms of challenges: how do you get the right sentiment in writing? The first line, if you read it, it says the growth has slowed down. Well, everybody knows that. But if you are trying to give some kind of optimistic flavor so that the client feels engaged and we can talk business, you might want to give a background saying, after years of relentless growth, a slower and more sustainable trend should be the new normal. And no part of the statement is incorrect or factually wrong. So this gives you the flavor of the right sentiment. So these three challenges, iterations, impact, and sentiment, I'm going to classify my discussion into. So let's begin with the first thing, iterations. How do you minimize the iterations, the multiple cycle of proposal building? First, I'm going to discuss about how do you build the skeleton of your proposal or your presentation. Now, friends, there are many different methods, and I'm going to pick something that I have put to use, and I have got some great results from those ideas. The first idea I'm going to talk about is how do you build the skeleton. Now, it's not very uncommon for you to see executive summary at the start of your presentation or proposal. What is this? This is nothing but a single side snapshot of your recommendation. To the point. Now, as you proceed in the proposal, very important is that you should demonstrate to the client that you understand their business and their processes. If you can do that, you have already won half the brownie point. Next, of course, is you have to back up your recommendation with evidence and the rational, correct reason for it. And you have to back it up with some research, charts, and table. The fourth part is, which is often missed out by people, is that you must demonstrate credibility. Now, credibility doesn't mean just to show your company logo. It means that you have done similar work in the past and you can demonstrate that successfully in your presentation or proposal. Of course, if you have some standard industry ranking vis-a-vis a competition, then of course this can help you get ahead. So the first process I'm going to discuss into much greater details, executive summary. Now, where did I learn this from? If I can take the opportunity to quickly run through one research report of Bain and Company or maybe McKinsey, I can just give you a glimpse of what executive summary means. It doesn't have to be a 3-slider or 2-slider. It can as well be just one slide. So I'm going to minimize my screen and I'm going to open one report from Bain and Company. So when I go to any randomly selected Bain and Company report, for example, India Real Estate Digest all pages, you will notice as the first page opens up, it is followed by the table of contents and a quick introduction about what the report is all about. So this is a very standard procedure. You can follow this and it's very, very well received. I'll come back to my presentation talking about the other aspects. Next, I'm going to run this through theory very fast because my target is to take you through some real practical examples. So just going through them fast. The second part is demonstrating your ability to understand client business. Now, you can ignore this part if you already know your client. The third important point, which is where all the aesthetics come into play, the charts and the tables, the wonderful aesthetics. I'll talk about that in some time. So let's see what is the next thought process that I can use to build my skeleton. So I'm going to go to something new this time. This is called the Minto Pyramid Principle, SCQA. So an industry veteran called Barbara Minto devised this principle decades back, and it has been used by different companies such as McKinsey, Boston Consulting Group, Bain and Company, Deloitte, and so on and so forth. So my friends, what is SCQA? Well, it is situation, C for complication, Q for question, and A for answer. Now, let me quickly walk through the theory and then I'm going to straight away dive into the practical aspect of how it brought me 3 new clients in the last 2 months. S means situation, which means it's just stating the facts, which is the current scenario. The more important point is complication actually, where you described in quantified terms maybe monetary value or the opportunity cost, you must say what is the complication. A question example of which I'll take very soon. It's a pinpointed question, and that leads you to be able to throw the ball in the client's court saying that this is the answer, this is the budget, and this is the plan. How would you want to take this ahead? So let me show you one example of SCQA which immensely helped in my business. So what I'm going to do is I am going to get to a folder which has some documents which I have used in recent times, and hopefully that can help you learn something from it. For example, I'll give a background about my profession, about my business. I started my career with audit, then went on to IB, and then I joined the training firm. I created my own training firm. Now, just like me, there are hundreds of training firms who are pitching for the same business as I am. Agreed? So how do I make sure that I stand out, my proposals stand out? So first page that I created was, do you face any of these 8 challenges in MS Excel, Word, and PowerPoint? And this I sent to all the learning and development leaders and HRs. Now, how did I create this entire structure? Notice. Let's go slow and start reading. So let's say my target crowd is HR and L&D, and I told them, rather than showing a table of contents of the different topics that I will be discussing in my program, I divide this strategy. I said that, look, this is a situation where you have 2 tables with same names but with spelling variation. Notice the table. You have the Mysore Paper Mills Limited, and you have same name but with different spelling, Mysore Mill Paper. Now, this is not the complication. This is just the situation. In the complication, I suggest that, look, functions such as VLOOKUP index will not work as they need exact spelling match. Most users sort this data on both the side and compare them manually, and this takes anywhere between 5 seconds to 20 seconds per match if you're really, really fast. Now, even then, you may not be able to ensure the completeness of work. Now imagine if you have data sets on 50,000 both sides. In fact, one of my friends around 3 months back called from Dubai. He was working for a financial services firm, and he said that, look, I have 2 tables. One table talks about beneficiary names, the nominee. The other talks about the same data but from a different source. The spellings are different with minor variations. How do I match, Rishabh? So this, after quantifying the complexity, I put a very blunt and pinpointed question to my client. How do I solve this problem with 50,000 rows of data on each table set? Now, what I want you to do is pause, think. If you are an Excel user and you get this first page on your desk, would it attract your attention? You can say yes, you can say no, but I would love to hear your feedback on whether it did actually catch your attention. Did it got your attention hooked to this document? Just say yes, no, and I'll know the feedback. Okay, so Mr. Chandrasekhar is saying that yes, he will be hooked to this question. You can also say no. Right, this is exactly what I wanted to show. That you may or may not use the situation complexity question as key terms in your document, which is fine. But this is a thought process how you may structure your document. By the way, do you want to know the answer of this question? If yes, I must tell you, because this is something very, very fascinating. This is something that I have developed as videos in my portal, and you'll definitely get to see about all those videos which are there on my portal within the Excel Ninja. The answer is, with great patience, keep listening. The answer is fuzzy lookup. The answer is fuzzy lookup. F-U-Z-Z-Y. F-U-Z-Z-Y, fuzzy lookup. And trust me, friends, if you have 2 table sets like these, 50,000 on both the sides, you can get the job done in less than 1 minute. So please keep it written somewhere. F-U-Z-Z-Y, fuzzy lookup. And now it's a Microsoft feature. It's a Microsoft add-in. It's not a third-party application. Your IT department will not create any fuss, plus it's free. So this was one example of SCQA. Let me show more examples. In fact, let me skip some pages of the document and take you through something even more important. For example, I'm assuming that you have written fuzzy lookup somewhere because it's something that you must know about. So let me take case 3. Same structure, situation. Now this is it's a data set from ModelOff. It's a financial modeling competition held every year. You can search on the internet. So I took the permission to use this data set for training purposes. It says a logbook with electricity consumption. I can see that with the date, with the time, and with the electricity consumed. Now, to analyze this data, one needs to successfully extract the 3 elements, which is KWH, date, and time. Now, my friends, if you are a user of Excel and you have been using something called find and replace, text to columns, search left, right, mid, let me tell you, you are going to have a tough time in solving this. So that's the complexity. Now, the blunt question I put forth before my potential user were, how do I solve this problem with 8,700 plus rows of data on each table set? Now, in fact, I'm so tempted to share this answer with you because wherever I've gone, whoever I have shared this trick with, they have come back to me and said, Rishabh, you just saves tons and tons of time. In fact, what I'll do is I'll give you a quick link so that you can download the case study right from the ModelOff, the source from where it originated from. Give me a second. I'm going to give you the link right now so that you can download that copy and make use of it. In fact, why don't you do one thing? Go to Google and write ModelOff. Please do that. Modeloff.com. Modeloff.com. I'll give you some time so that you can also do that right now. So between the idea of presentation writing, let me just sneak in one simple Excel trick which can save you tons and tons of time. I want that 90 minutes you spent today is recovered in the next few days. So please go to modeloff.com. Have you already gone to modeloff.com? Just tell me yes, 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 and I'll be strongly encouraged to move forward. Well, if you've gone to that section, please go to the past questions. Yes, past questions. Please go there. Past questions. So it consists of all the previous years' questions. So go to past questions. I'm hoping that you've gone to past questions. Okay. Now just type in Control F so that you can search for something. Type data in the Control F section to be able to search some search string. Type data. Right. You should be getting a tab called Dealing with Data. Dealing with data. Yes. Please go there. I'm just going to pause for a few seconds before I can show you the result. As soon as I show you the answer, I'll get back to my main agenda, which is the different processes of how I can use SCQA model to be able to draft my proposal and sales pitches. So please go to Deal with Data and you'll see something called Question Workbook. I'm just hovering my cursor on that Question Workbook. Please click on that Question Workbook. Yes. Okay. And as soon as you click on that, you will get an Excel file getting downloaded to your system. And that's great. It's free. Courtesy modeloff.com. They have been kind enough to share this past question with us. Right. So has everyone downloaded this Excel file? Give me a great yes and I'll show you the solution right away. I'll give you some moments so that you can download this question workbook. Okay. Okay. So after you've downloaded this, I'll just show you one quick trick and then I'll go back to my main agenda. I'm assuming you have opened the Excel file quickly and go to the next sheet. Usage. Usage. Right. Now, if you are a 2013 or 2016 user of Excel, you would love this trick. So I'll not spend much time on this. There are plenty of videos on my portal, which I will guide you through as the time progresses. But if you are using 2013 or above, please do one thing. Can you write please 0.384 in the adjoining cell, which represents the electricity consumed? Please write it fast. Right. So if you've written this, and if you can go to data tab and click on flash fill, right? The shortcut key to which is Control E. So click on flash fill and there you go. Zoop. All your data cleaned up in one simple second. So I'll give you more resources later on. The idea is to just tell you what is the impact of SCQA as you progress with your proposal. Any 2010 or 2007 user, you may not be able to get the flash fill, which is fine, because as time progresses, you will be starting to use 2016, 13, and we have talks of the new release of 2019 coming up in the next year. Yeah, if you want me repeated, I'll just take few seconds more. Just copy 0.384 verbatim as it is and paste in the adjoining cell. Once you did that, you press Control E, E for elephant, press Control E, and you got your results. Superb. And that's what we were looking for. All the electricity unit consumed, extracted. I hope you liked this. And if you liked it, I'll move on to the next example of SCQA, how it helped me get more and more business. So fuzzy lookup, flash fill, these are the two examples. Now, let me minimize my screen and I'll show you another example, this time from a different domain of SCQA. Right. I'm going to open a report which is how to become a PowerPoint ninja. So we launched this course this year, and my target was to be able to differentiate between other PowerPoint training institutes and company and to tell that, look, we are class apart. Now, I could have sent a very colorful brochures to them, but that would not have caught their attention. So I did not use the words SCQA, but I did use their concept. I really thank Barbara Minto to having devised this concept. Watch. How to create editable shape icons from Windows fonts in 30 seconds. Now, I have not only given the premise, I have given the complexity with quantification, because by default, if you look at this slide, you may even start wondering how, without going to Google, can I get these symbols? And if you are able to get so, how do you start editing them? So this is the complexity, quantifying them in time, and of course, idea is to make them get hooked onto my idea and let them call me. Something similar. How to create creative shapes in less than 30 seconds. Right. So maybe if the time permits, towards the later half of today's session, I'll discuss these tricks. But the idea is to tell you that this is what caught a lot of people's attention. And of course, they gave us a call and we actually got the deal. So this is one extremely good example of SCQA. Now, I want you to pause for a minute. And think about some recent case study or proposals that you had built. Can you mold that proposal or presentation into the structure of SCQA? Now, this is not something that's going to be very, very easy to apply initially, but trust me, with time, the thought process that you develop with the help of SCQA model will be very, very valuable. So I'm assuming that you've got a basic idea about SCQA. Of course, it's a very heavy book that you can go to Amazon and purchase it. But what I've given you is the gist and the application so that you're able to put this to use immediately. Right. So first we talked about a basic framework of skeleton building. Then we spoke about the Minto pyramid principle. And then I'm going to talk about greater detail into something called MISI principle. MISI principle. Right. Now, what is me and what is C? Of course, pun intended. So ME means mutually exclusive. So if it's a day, it cannot be night. Right. If it's a head, it cannot be a tail. Collectively exhaustive means you have taken all the possible variables that could have been a part of your equation. Now, this is a theory. This is not practical. Let me actually share with you how would a practical scenario look like. Now, Suppose you use the SCQA proposal and you were able to make a very effective sales pitch. You got the deal. Now it's the time for negotiation and you are discussing terms and condition with the potential client. Now, how would you use this concept of collectively exhaustive in that scope document which you are going to draft along with the client? Now, the most obvious things are how much fees would you charge? What is the outcome that you are promising? And what are the caveats, right? Now, what most people miss on is what will not be done. And the fees that I'm charging is subject to increase if certain conditions are not met. Now, let me give an example. Suppose I'm a trainer and I have been promised 2 training days by a certain company. They have invited me. They have promised me to be able to bring along 20 participants in the batch. Now, just before the day of training, they said, no, we cannot go ahead with the training. We have to cancel it. Now, had I not given this caveat that, look, if you're canceling 7 days prior to the actual training day, you have to pay me 100%. Now, when you define these terms and conditions, have I included all the possible methods? Is it collectively exhaustive? No, because I've not defined 7 days. Is it 7 calendar days or 7 business days? Even business days, it could be different in different geographies. In Bangladesh, Dhaka, it's Friday, Saturday that is off. In India, it's Saturday, Sunday off. In US, it's Saturday, Sunday off, right? So you must define in that situation the exact definition of days. Is it business or calendar days? So this is just one example to tell that, look, when you are discussing this MISI principle, it's a very important principle to be able to draft your scope document, especially discussing what will not be done, and be as elaborative as possible. Trust me, in the last few months, I have settled several disputes with the client in a very peaceful manner just because I took the time to actually draft the exhaustive terms and condition. If you agree with me, you can say yes. If you can share some example where you had some dispute with the client and that is just because your service level agreement was not collectively exhaustively defined. So if you have found any usage in the last few minutes, just say yes. And you can also share experience in the chat window. We'll definitely be benefited by it. So this is the third principle besides SCQA. Cool. I'm getting a lot of yes, and that's very encouraging. So what I've given you is a lot of hours and hours of reading in short time, in the last half an hour. Now, you might ask me, Rishabh, you have not discussed about the mutually exclusive part. Well, there are two schools of thought here. The old school of thought says there should ideally be no overlaps. For example, if you are a beverage company, you're dividing all your distribution network into different beverage products. For example, Coca-Cola, I will have the black one, I have the orange one, I have the transparent one, I have the non-sugary diet one. Well, in today's time, let me tell you, any project that you do, you cannot put them into silos. You cannot put them into airtight compartment. There will definitely be overlaps and redundancy will be required. The backups will be required. So I'm not a very hard supporter of mutually exclusive part, but I definitely have made a lot of use of collectively exhaustive. So this was all about iteration. Next, all these three, if you start applying, this will just minimize your iteration to a large deal. As I discussed earlier, can you actually start to feel the difference when I'm talking about this? It helps you structure your ideas much better. So now I'm going to discuss with impact. I'll quickly move forward. Time is at premium. Impact. Now, why do I discuss impact? Let me share something with you. Let me share some reports which I have downloaded from the internet. Those belong to McKinsey, Bain & Company, etc. And I'm going to open that because your proposal, besides writing, which I'm going to come to in few minutes, I must also add the element of impact. Is it really impactful? Okay. So here we go. I'm going to dig into my archive files and I'm going to take out some examples from Bain & Company, maybe industry reports of McKinsey. Right. Give me a moment. So I'm going to open one report which I just downloaded a few days back, and it's a December 2016 report, not too old. It's something to do with age of analytics, competing in a data-driven world. Now, as we were discussing, it also starts with some introduction and table of contents. And this reminds me, how many of you actually know how to create an automated table of contents in Word document? If you really know, if you have seen how table of contents is generated automatically in MS Word, just say yes, else say no. If there are a lot of no's, I will definitely want to take a minute out and show you how do you create this automated table of contents in Word. So if you want me to show this trick, just say yes. Okay, a lot of people say they do not know the trick. So I'm going to do what? I'm going to do a very simple thing. Can you take some time out and open a Word document right now? Right now, yes, please open a Word document. Right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write heading 1. I'm going to press enter and I'm going to write the heading 2. Within heading 2, I'm going to write something called subheading 2. Subheading 2. Now, if you can just write simple H1 and H2 and SH1 short form in your Word document, I can show you right now how to create the automated table of contents. This is very important for proposal writing, and you have seen this in almost all reports that I have opened before you. Bain and Company, you have McKinsey. So I'm assuming you have written the basic heading 1. You've written heading 2. You can also use a short form just to save time. H2, I can also write H1, right? And subheading 2. Now, the first H1, select that text, go to Home tab, and simply give it the definition of heading 1. Now, do not worry about the formatting of this H1. This can be changed later. I go to H2 and I again apply the same heading 1. This is the heading level 1. Now, the subheading 2, apply heading 2 definition. Heading 2 definition. Done. I'm assuming you did this. Now, I'm not showing this in greater detail, but if you ever wanted to change the format of this from a centralized position, you may right click on the heading 1 and click on modify. So just to show a very basic example, I'm just making it bold and I'm pressing OK. All the H1, H2 now are bold. I don't have to do it individually. Now, once you have assigned the heading 1, H1 tag and H2 tag, you may go to references. Yes, references, and click on table of content. Table of content feature of Word understands the H1 and H2 tags. So very important for your proposal and your presentation in Word. Please click on references and go to table of content and choose any template. If I choose the first basic template, notice automatically this content has been put up in the first page. In fact, if I add more spaces and take this heading 1, heading 2, some other pages, these page numbers can also get automatically updated. All I have to do is click here and say, please update the entire table. Whoa, I can see the updation of page number. Right, so I'll not spend much time on this. Just the fact is that you should know the basics of table of content. 1, you first must assign the H1 tag by going to home and giving H1, H2 tag. Second, you must go to reference and click on table of contents. I hope it helped you because I'm going to get deep inside McKinsey report now. Right. I'm just waiting, giving a moment to all of you just to get your feedback, whether it's actually happening on your PC or not. Extremely important for your proposal writing. So yes, I know time is short. I cannot show you everything in detail, but I think this is good enough. In fact, a lot of these tricks, I have put that in my portal of yodalearning.com. So yodalearning.com is my portal where I keep all these super important Excel and Word tricks, PowerPoint tricks, all at one go, right? So I'll come back to the McKinsey report, which I was talking about. Okay, so after you have seen this basic things of table of content, so let me move to the next one. So they have something called in brief, which is then followed by executive summary. Now, I'll be I'll be digging deep inside the writing part little later, probably after 20 minutes. But I just want to highlight the kind of energy, the kind of thought process you can develop by just reading their reports and highlighting them. In fact, this is on big data. Now, just read this paragraph, which is written in respect of big data. I'm going to magnify the screen so that you can read easily. Look at how beautifully the words have been assigned. The convergence of several technology trends is accelerating progress. So one word I loved here is convergence. Why? Because with this gamut of multiple technologies and coming up so fast with us, the convergence word is important. Next, several technology trend is accelerating progress. Now, what I take away from this first line is you can use the similar structure, sentence construction structure, to apply this in your proposal also. You may say the convergence of several government regulations. You may say the convergence of several socioeconomic factors is accelerating some event. Now, in this context, it's saying the volume of data continues to double every 3 years as information pours. Very simple statement. Next, data storage capacity is increased while its cost has plummeted. Short and sweet. Data scientists now have unprecedented. Now, this is something we know about, but we do not use this so often. Data scientists now have unprecedented computing power at their disposal, and they are devising ever more sophisticated algorithms. So, my friends, I'll give you a compilation of Bain and Company. Some of you have already gone through it. I will keep on working on making compilation of such reports, and this is where I learned most of my learnings of writing with. In fact, let me share this one paragraph's observation. Watch, especially these 3 lines. Organizations that pursue this 2-part strategy will be ready to take advantage of opportunities. That's a simple statement. Anybody can write it. However, what they follow it up with is more important. They say that, look, they'll be ready to take advantage of opportunities. However, they'll be able to thwart potential disruptors. Now, a normal average person would have just ended the statement here. What McKinsey did was they said that, look, they will be able to thwart potential disruptors, and they have to assume that those disruptors are right around the corner. So this is adding a great punch to the statement, maybe adding a bit of fear for corporates who are not ready to handle this big data. So that's a level of writing I'm talking about. As I progress more, what I also notice is that, watch how beautifully they have designed these ideas with appropriate heading, saying, look, there has been uneven progress in capturing value from data and analytics. Why uneven? Because it differs from sector to sector. Now, if you are a visual person, you would want to ask me, Rishabh, I understand it's a donut chart, which I agree to, but I would be able to, manipulate its position very easily inside a table. Can I convert a chart into a shape? Can I edit that? Can I break this? Can I manipulate it as per my own choice without the boundaries of being a chart? If you want to know this trick, right now, I'm going to show you on your screen. Could you do one thing? Open a PowerPoint. Right now, yes. I'm going to share something with you which is an integral part of any report from these top Ivy League companies. So do one thing, just open a blank PowerPoint and get rid of all these text boxes. I'm going to show one quick trick, and it's just going to blow your mind. Just open a PowerPoint. Is the PowerPoint open? Right. I'll give you some time so that you can open a PowerPoint deck. A blank deck will do. You are going to do one small exercise with me. Trust me, it's something that I learned after 14 years of using PowerPoint. So I go to Insert. I go to Chart. Yes. I'll pause so that you can watch and do it on your own right now. Yes, go to Chart, right? And let's say go to Pie Chart. If you're using an older version of PowerPoint, you can go to Donut section. But right now, since I'm using 2013, I'm going to go to Pie section and pick up this donut, right? So I'm going to double click on this donut, and as soon as I do that, it will come up on my screen. Correct. So will it be yours. Now, any basic Excel or PowerPoint user knows that I can change the numbers and the size of the slice will change, right? You can delete some numbers and the slice of the slice will change. So whatever you do, you can control the size of the slice. Now watch. You cannot ungroup this chart. There is no such option, either copy, cut. You cannot break this. You can, provided you know the ninja level trick, which is what Yoda Learning stands for. All the best tricks of Word, Excel, PowerPoint in one single place. We have gone to the oceans of internet and got you this entire trick. So first step is, please right click on the boundary of the chart and cut this. Control X will also help you do that. Cut. Done? Then next immediate step is you should go to home. I'm not using shortcut key so that you are able to see clearly what buttons I'm pressing. So go to home and click on paste special. I'm hovering my cursor there so that you can also do it. I'm pausing. If you want to make those reports just like McKinsey, Boston Consulting Group and Bain, you should know and you must know this trick. So go to paste special and scroll down from the options and choose enhanced meta file. Yes, you must choose enhanced meta file. Most of you may have used JPEG before, but today you're going to use enhanced meta file. Yes. Done? Just pausing. And once you did that, press OK. Now what you get is not a chart anymore. It is a breakable object which I will ungroup twice to separate them from its original structure. And I'll show you how. I'm not using a shortcut key, although I can, but when I right click on the chart, I'll see group option coming up on now. It wasn't coming up before. If you go to group, after right clicking, go to group and choose ungroup. You'll get a small resistance. Just say yes. Before you get a breakthrough, you always have a small resistance. Just say yes. And again, go to right click and ungroup this. You will notice an amazing feat happening right before your screen. What is it? Well, you'll see that each element, if you want to bring them out, you click outside and you can break them pieces by pieces. Now that's what I call a ninja level trick. A lot of these reports, when you go to their websites, all the big four, Deloitte, Ernst & Young, PwC, KPMG, you will see this report, all these reports using this mechanism. If you really love this trick, this ninja level trick, I'm going to take my time and show you once again, probably with a different chart, the same steps, insert chart. If you're a 2010 user, you should take a 3D bubble chart. If you're a 2013 user, you should take a 2D bubble chart, and I press OK. And as I press OK, I have the power to change the size of the volume of the circle. So 120 megawatt plant versus 100 megawatt plant versus 25 megawatt solar power plant. Now these size of the circle indicate the volume of the megawatt. Well, the same procedure. This is for your fast recap. Cut. Next, I go to paste special. Next, I choose enhanced meta file, press OK. And once you did that, you remember you had to do ungroup how many times? Not once, but once again, total 2 times. You'll see some squares coming up. Don't worry. Click outside. As you do so, you're able to take this out. And this volume of the circle precisely reflects the megawatt capacity that you were trying to show. In fact, this is something that I saw in one of KPMG report. This is how the bubble chart were converted to editable shape. And that's what I did show you. If I was using shortcuts, I could have done that in less than 10 seconds. So this was one trick while we were discussing McKinsey report. So I'll move on. And if you really love this trick, just give me a yes signal. I'll just know my energy will double up and I'll show you more and more tricks like this. In fact, trust me, all these tricks, I have assembled that in my portal, yodalearning.com. It has a collection of all the MS Office high-level courses, right from basic till the advanced. And what I've done is, in the last 7 years, I've collected all these tricks by bricks, collected them in one single place. Through my research, through my corporate training, through my queries answering. I have put all these best tricks of Excel, PowerPoint, Word, Outlook, new technologies coming in such as Unica, project management, all in one place under the umbrella of this black like picture appearing called Office Training Bundle. Advanced Excel, which includes array formula. A lot of people love to use array formula because they are very powerful. If you are making a hardcore proposal in either Word or PowerPoint, you should definitely go through these courses because this is where all these super ninja tricks are lying. In fact, just 2 days back, I have launched volume 1 of financial modeling. It talks about cases such as flags. In fact, I must show you this right now. How would it look if you were to go through my course on financial modeling? You'll be talking about flags, the timing flags. It's a very important feature, how to build a business model. Waterfall structure. If you have proportionate payment happening in a certain sequence, then this is the waterfall structure. In fact, this is the reason why subprime happened. Next, iteration and the meaning of circularity switch. So if you have one of those professionals you are working with financial models, you must know these tricks because these are tricks which you'll not find on any books. When you run this video, you will get to see a lot of case studies which are mimicking real life problems. Right. So all this you can get access to in the next 24 hours. In the next 24 hours for just $200. If you go to my website on any given day after 24 hours, you will get the same thing at $690. So all the best tricks of Excel, macros, dashboard, PowerPoint, Word, Outlook, you saw some examples. This is going to get inside this. Plus, the best part is all the new courses that I'll be adding on writing, on business proposal, on Power BI, you will get it for free. This will automatically get added to your course material. So you'll get a link for registration. As of now, I get back to my McKinsey report because this is where I want to focus my attention to. For example, let me get to this line item. Look at how beautifully these two lines have been put to reflect the essence of the report. One, as data grows more complex, distilling it and bringing it to life through visualization. Now, this is exactly what we are talking about right now through PowerPoint, visualization. So as data grows more complex, distilling it and bringing it to life through visualization is becoming critical to help make the results of data analysis digestible for decision makers. Now, it's a very beautiful statement. Why? Because it encompasses all the idea that you want to summarize your report with. In fact, when I'm looking at this two line, what is getting to my attention is this. If I were to create this visualization fast, I would need the help of certain shortcut keys, and I'll definitely be kind enough to share this in the next 1 minute. Example, you took one oval, right? Easy. Now, when you make a duplicate, I don't want to distort the size of the oval. So if you ever are trying to reduce the size of a certain shape by keeping the proportion same, you must press shift and keep it pressed and then reduce the size. The symmetry is maintained. Of course, you'll be able to see the difference once I do that for one more oval. I make a copy of it, I press shift, and then I try to reduce the size. So this keeps the proportion intact, right? In fact, if I change the color, and you might say, Rishabh, some of these are not proportionately aligned. Well, if you go through the course of Yoda learning PowerPoint, you'll notice the speed with which it's going to get aligned. Watch my screen. Hold on. Let me select all the shapes first. I missed on choosing the shape. Superb. So with just a few keys, which I do not need to remember, I can quickly make this aligned. In fact, if I go and take the help of merge shape, you'll be blown away with the kind of technology Microsoft PowerPoint 2013 has brought in. Notice I'm able to break out these shapes. Whoa. So if you were an animation guy, you would have loved this, because with this you can create some wonderful animations, right? So I'll get back to my report. This was one trick on merge shapes and alignment. Next, I move forward. Look at this illustration. One of the very, very important points of proposal writing is that you should be able to convert your writing into something which is visually appealing. Right. Now, when you have to make this real fast, how would you do that? In fact, I would make you do this because this is something I want you to sleep with and go back to your office tomorrow and apply immediately. How do I create with minimal fuss and effort aligned shapes like this in no time? So if you're ready for this, please come along in a new slide and I'm going to show you how to get this done. First, clear out your area because I want some clear area. If you're ready, I'm going to go ahead and show you the trick. If you're ready, just say yes, because this is a trick which I love and I use every day. This allows me to give more time to proposal writing, much more important thing. So watch first on my screen and then I'll let you do it on your screen. Imagine this is my starting point. I have no time machine. I use a certain trick and whoa, with equal alignment, I'm able to create that fast. Can you do that this fast? I challenge. If you do not know the right trick, you will end up doing this same thing probably in 4 to 5 minutes. And I can assure you, even then, I'll probably struggle with the speed. Okay, let's go. If you really loved it, I want you to achieve this. Let's do one thing. Let's go to insert and go to shape and create one rectangle. A basic rectangle will do. I'm not bothered about color. First, create a basic rectangle. I'm going to pause and just ask you to make a basic rectangle on any part of your slide. If you have made it, I'll move ahead. Okay. So if I were to create something like this as a cluster, how would I do that? Pause. I'll go slow from here. Listen carefully. From your left hand, press Shift Control and keep it pressed. I repeat. From your left hand, keep Shift Control pressed. Do not release that unless I say so. Now put your cursor on top of this shape. With your mouse or laptop keypad, put your cursor right now. Now hold it down as if you're pressing a button very hard. Yes. And drag this down. You'll notice a ghost replica comes out proportionately in the vertically below corner. Release the mouse, but don't release the shift control. Release the mouse, then release the shift control. Is it happening? Is the ghost replica coming out? Because if it is coming out, you must redo your last action by pressing Control Y, Control Y, Control Y, Control Y, Control Y. Whoa, I love this. I just want you to have the same feeling as I'm going through right now. I'll repeat. Select this rectangle, shift control down should be pressed. Hold your mouse cursor on top of the rectangle and drag this down. Release the mouse cursor first because shift control is the power. Don't release that. As soon as you make a ghost replica, Control Y, Control Y, Control Y, Control Y, Control Y. If it's happening, please give me a 5 out of 5 and I'll know that yes, you learned this trick, and this is the trick you will see in a lot of reports of this Big 4 and the Big 3 consulting firm. Just say 5, I'll know that you understood this trick. Just say 5 in the comment box. I'm waiting to hear your feedback because this is something that I live for, to make your life faster in Excel, in PowerPoint. Great. Thanks. Thanks, Nicholas. Thanks, Jatin. Thanks, Abhishek. Thanks, Yash. Wow. Yash seems to be very excited with this new trick and I really love it. In fact, if you can apply the same trick horizontally, you select the entire block like this, press Shift Control right and press Control Y, Control Y, Control Y. It's amazing the kind of things you can do by knowing just some of these super important rare tricks which you'll not find even in the Microsoft website. I can guarantee that. So I'll go to my proposal writing again. I'll quickly go through this before I jump on to the next part of the proposal. So a lot of graphs and charts, waterfall charts, which is the flavor of the season. You'll see in their reports as you go along, all text having. And I don't want that. I just want some visualization to come up in some cases. So I'll go to the next trick of mine. Right. So as a part of my impact series, how do you create impact? I've definitely shared some tips with you. How do you break a chart? How do you make replicas and do that real fast? So I'm going to ask you to simply take a screenshot of this screen that you're seeing right now called Adding Impact. After going through hundreds of these reports, I have collected all the best points and put that into 7 different points like these. So if you've taken a screenshot, I'll move along and show you examples. How can you add impact to your proposals? Right. Imagine I see a lot of reports with tables which are simply boring. And I see so many proposals with tables like these, or text, text, text. However, if you had the opportunity to help your user visualize what you're trying to say, isn't that good? Look at this amazing feature of this gray dots and the red dots. This is the same thing what you're trying to say through words, and I love this visualization. In a single glance, I can use this for percentage completion. I can use this for risk level, criticality. If you're a software developer, in which stage of software development cycle the project is in, and it's not difficult. Do not assume I've added a circle on top of it. Instead, I've added a symbol. If I place my cursor inside a table, I can go to insert, I can go to symbol. I can go to symbol, and just like Arial and Times New Roman, there are hundreds of other fonts. One of the fonts is called Wingdings. And I'm sure you would have probably seen this when you got your first computer home and you were playing around in your childhood trying to make some innovative shapes. So you bring this on, insert, 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 close. Now you can give them different colors to denote different meaning. So this is the first point I wanted to make out, that look, symbols can be used to discuss level of risk, criticality, percentage completion. In fact, I'll take more examples as I move forward. So adding impact to your table, you can add these right and wrong. Never ever add a picture. Why should you not add a picture? Suppose I took a picture. In fact, I'm just going to draw a quick screenshot. And I'm going to make one of these symbols as picture. Let's say I did that. And if I paste in any one of this given area, notice the table as it moves along, the picture doesn't move. The column width adjusts, the symbols adjust, but the picture doesn't. So you must use symbols to the full effect. The best part is these symbols can be changed in terms of color, size, and they are freely available because they are just as old as Times New Roman. Next. You can use these symbols to denote legends like these, Africa, Asia. Highlighter. This is one of the things I learned from McKinsey and Bain & Company report, that you can use highlighter to focus on a certain section of your table. I'm just going a little fast because there are a lot of things I want to show. So I go to insert, I go to shape, I make a rectangle. Now the properties of the rectangle should be that look, fill should be no fill. Outline should be a dark red one. Maybe I'll increase the weight of this. And finally, I'll add the dashes. Wherever I want my user's attention, I can put the highlighter on top of to that. Plus, I can help user read this better by putting 1 and 2. This way, they don't read the report linear pattern. They read with the sequence 1 and 2. Another trick I use in my table is, as much as possible, make it user friendly by clustering the different projects by the importance that they have. Something like this. So if you were a very busy partner or a senior associate or an executive director, you would not have time to go through all the line items. You must just look at the important ones and just skip them through. So these are the impact creators. In fact, this reminds me of a report of Bain & Company, which I'm going to open right now before your eyes, because there's something amazing that I saw there. So I go to a report which is on diamond industry, right? I'll go to a certain page. Watch. It's a beautiful illustration. Upstream, middle market, downstream. So one of the important parts of writing your proposal is, as much as possible, if you can convert your plain, simple, boring paragraph into something like this, it's super amazing. However, once you have made this and you want to discuss probably middle market more in detail, do not delete the upstream and the downstream portions of this report. In fact, you'll be amazed at what Bain & Company did in response to this question. I'll go through quickly that particular page and you'll see what Bain & Company did. Almost there? It's a large report, so I just have to scroll a bit here and there. Hold on. This is hard work. I have to go through all the reports page by page to show you something amazing. And watch, they put a D highlighter on top of the first and the last portion. Now, any user, even if he wants to see that detail, he probably will not be able to, but the context still remains. So this is what I call D highlighter. How do you create a D highlighter? Well, simple. You create a shape, make sure that that is white in color from inside. So I change the color white, I put the outline no outline, and most importantly, you must increase the transparency. So I go to format shape and I go to fill option and I increase the transparency. Now this is the same effect which Bain and Company was trying to show you in its report, and that's the reason I ask you to make a copy of these important points, because these are impact creators. In fact, this is one of the impact creators which I have shown in one of my blogs, in my videos. If you Google saying magnifier effect, you'll get my blog with all the details. But since this webinar, you have the opportunity of watching this video again, I'll quickly show this magnifier effect. Watch. I make a copy of the original picture. Okay. Step 1 is making a copy of the original picture. Step 2, I'll go to crop and I'll choose crop to shape. Oval, super. Now I go to crop and then I use this black clip to adjust the size. Once I did that, I use the shaded area to focus and use it like a microscope. And once I focused on a certain area, I click outside. That's what my magnifier looks like. I can increase the size and put it on top of the main picture so that anybody who takes a printout or watch this through can easily do so. So just Google magnifier effect. You'll get my blog on this. Time running short. I'll quickly pass on to the next few topics. So I discussed some of the ninja tricks. How do you break a table? How do you merge different shapes? Did I show this? Okay, let me just quickly show how to merge shapes. In fact, I was going through one of the reports today and I was amazed to see its use. In fact, I will show you one report from PricewaterhouseCoopers where this has been used. So imagine if you have to convert your proposal text into this format, how do you do that? Difficult? Well, not so. All you have to do is use 2013 version of PowerPoint or Excel. Let me show you. By opening a new one, whenever you get time after today, go through this or go through my videos on yodalearning.com. Once I create a basic shape and I create certain basic thin rectangles on top of it. So I'm going to create some replicas, trying to place it where the cut must take place, right? Once I selected all these 4 shapes, what I do is I go to format, and in 2013, they have given me something called merge shapes, fragment. Please use that, fragment. Once I fragment, at every intersecting point, the shapes have been cut. And if the shapes have been cut, you can move them, you can color them in different colors, and that is what the report by PwC had probably used in its one visualization. So this is about merging shapes. So all this discussion was happening around impact. So first was iteration, SCQA, MECE model, then impact with a lot of PowerPoint tricks. Now I'll come to sentiment. Sentiment, yes. Now, I just want to know how many of you who had access to my Bain report, the compilation of Bain and Company report, have gone through all pages, because I've got a tremendous feedback on LinkedIn and in my network. Right. How many of you just say yes if you have gone through my Bain and Company report, because I will just talk about 1 or 2 odd things which you can start to use immediately in your work. How many of you got a chance to go through my Bain and Company report compilation? Please say yes. I won't mind if you say no. I'm just curious, that's all. You have any feedback for the Bain and Company writing style? Because if you have not, then I would definitely ask you to give me some feedback, because that'll help me in making something similar for McKinsey, Deloitte, EY, PwC in times to come. Okay, so what I've done is I'll just give you a brief, because this is very important. How should you start reading and making effective use of it? If you're making proposal, you should have the right sentiment to reflect what you want to say. So, for example, if you're making a proposal, trust me, these are several flavors which you will have to put in your proposal. For example, why investors shouldn't miss this opportunity this time. Now, what I did was I was going through some of the report of Bain and Company, and I came up with some lines which was super, super important. So let me quickly go through one of the areas which reflects one of the themes, which says, why should you engage us? Why should you engage us? So that's the theme I want to discuss right now. I'm going to go to this section and discuss this theme. If in your proposal, if the one theme that you want to bring in, you should read this particular slide. One of the Bain and Company reports says that, look, just because the economy is gaining momentum, it doesn't mean that all brands will win. It was a report on Indian market, in Indian fast moving consumer goods. So it's a very broad statement. Now, to back it up, what they said was that, look, only 1 in 5 companies became a winner, and they backed it up with some data sets from the past. Now, what they are doing is they are setting the stage to demonstrate later that to benefit from the opportunity, a market player must have the right advisory partner. And that's why they're saying with proper facts that, look, just because the economy is doing overall good, it doesn't mean automatically by default your brands will also win. Now, after setting the stage, what they said was that, look, we have already done our background research. We have tied up with some institute, and we did a study of shopping habits of nearly 80,000 Indian households. And if you can use this as a leverage, you can definitely be the winner. And this is what the report was indirectly trying to tell you, that, look, you partner with us in this growth and it'll help you achieve that momentum in the growth. So friends, this will be emailed to you. If you have not received it, please go through it. This is what the sentiment is all about. If you are writing a proposal and you want any of these sentiments in your report, please go through the respective sections of the slides. The reading will help you. This is a combination of 11 plus reports, 10 to 50 pages each, and have to read this probably 5 to 8 times every line item to be able to give you this shorthand compilation. So this is what I wanted to discuss in terms of a certain color. Now, friends, I've got several emails that, look, some say that, look, besides proposals and sales pitches, I also want to write on LinkedIn. Now, writing on LinkedIn is a very, very important trick. But before I go there, I must remind all of you that for the next 24 hours, we have kept our lines open, which will give you access to our 7 years of research on the best tricks of Excel, PowerPoint, Word, and document, all in single place. You'll get courses access such as Advanced Excel, which includes what you saw right now in the first half, flash fill, array formulas, one of the most difficult parts, explained in the easiest language, VB macros, Excel dashboard. In fact, today's time, something like this is very, very important. Financial modeling, volume 1, volume 2 will coming up with. And the flavor is any new course we add in yodalearning.com, you'll get an automatic access. So all this, if you go to on our website on a normal given day, it will be worth $690. But for today, the next 24 hours, you can get this for just $200. Make use of this, because I want you to become faster in Excel, in Word, in PowerPoint, in proposal writing. I'll get back to my agenda of writing for LinkedIn now. How many of you perhaps use LinkedIn to further your professional network or increase the reach of your business? If you do use LinkedIn, please write in the comment that, yes, I use LinkedIn to further my business reach or increase my professional network or reach out to more people. Right? Do you, Jay Patel, you use this? Akanksha, आप भी use करते हो? Yes. Nilesh, you also use it? Yes. Right. So I'm going to share some tricks with you which will help you learn those things which I've learned over the months and years. In fact, let me share some example. My total connections are 1650 and there are 2400 plus followers. When I start writing my post in LinkedIn, you will notice there are a lot of likes, lot of views, and I will tell you the reasons for these views and these likes. I want you to learn those tricks which I have tried and tested. In fact, one of the recent uh, posts, some of you would have read about it. I wrote and it got 131 likes, 16,000, almost 70,000 views in a matter of 5 to 6 days. And I'm being very realistic. Of course, there'll be people who would have 1 lakh viewers, but those are the people who are sitting at the top of the organization, something like CEO or CFO. If you as a person, as a professional, want to reach a wider audience, you must know how to write on LinkedIn. So I'm going to share some important basic points before I dissect all these examples. Right. First things first, when you write on LinkedIn, share something valuable. Now, LinkedIn is not Facebook. I'm not interested where you went out for having your dinner or where did you go out for having your vacation. You must share something valuable in the form of report or research. The valuable could be a downloadable file or it could be a set of points. You must ensure for maximizing likes and comments and reach, the bullet points, each one of them should not exceed 3 lines. In fact, on occasions, I have used some bullet points with 5 or 6 lines in each bullet point, and I've seen it's disastrous. It doesn't give you that much of reach. So take my word for it. If you write in bullet points with 2 to 3 lines maximum against each bullet point, it will have an immediate positive effect. Third, if you can bring some emotion in your writing, something which is authentic from your real life, success, challenges, or failure. I'll show an example very soon with each of these points. If you can bring this emotion, it is having higher chances of getting really, really good outreach. Next, don't be very preachy. I'm not here to read out things like you should do this or should do that. You should tell me practical action steps that are easy to apply. And of course, you should be very, very original. Now, I'll show you some examples where I used all these 5 points. I got fantastic results. So for example, I took this example where I spoke about that, look, there are 3-4 days every month where I feel absolutely demotivated. And I spoke about things I did to keep me motivated. Something like, talk to your loved ones for 3 to 4 minutes, or do one thing at a time, eat light, be alert to avoid letting yourself drown in self-pity. Now, these were something which is not preachy, something that I've applied it, and look at the results. Something similar. Let me take something. I'll not have time to go through each one of them, but let me take one of the very easy ones which can be read through. Right. So I read somewhere, you will catch more flies with honey than you will with vinegar. Quite true. So true in the business context. And I gave 3 bullet points. So in few days, I got 30 likes. I know it's not something to be boasting about when you're comparing with 1 lakh views, but I'm being very realistic. Last but not the least, all things that you write, you must write in a very easy to read manner. So what I use generally is, there's a website called hemingwayapp.com. hemingwayapp.com. You may take a note of this website, hemingwayapp.com. hemingwayapp.com. Whenever you actually write anything here, you must put it here for a basic test. What is a basic test? Let me do one thing. Let me go to one of these reports and pick out something for random text, and I copy that and I put that into Hemingway app. What does it do? It gives you a quick analysis in terms of how easy it is in terms of readability. Grade 16 means a very high level college student can read this. So if you want to probably make this simpler and easy to read, you have to go through these recommendations. For example, it says 7 out of 8 sentences are very hard to read. Fine. So can I break them? So first statement says first step was to get the buy-in from the stakeholders. So I should put a full stop and press enter. Now this makes it very easy. So it gives you very, very good recommendation. How can you write for LinkedIn, for your report, sorry, for your reports? And trust me, it's all free. A lot of things in life which are too good to be true are free. So this is the trick number one. How can you write better through an online portal? Next, I want to share with you is there's something called smallpdf.com. Right? If you have not used this, you must start using this. Smallpdf.com. Please make a note of it. It's the world's best PDF converter I've used till date. PDF to PPT, PDF to PowerPoint, PDF to Word document. It's all free. In fact, let me show you the results. On one occasion, I had downloaded one report from PwC website. It was on goods and service tax. It was as you can see, it's publicly available and a lot of illustrations. I used small PDF to convert this into a PPT. Now let me show you the results. What you're seeing is the PPT version of the PDF file. All the text are copyable, the picture is removable, plus all these are editable. It's free and it's there for you use. In fact, if I get into too much details, look at this, I can break one piece at a time. If I get into further details, let me go to the next few pages. Maybe I look at this guy, he is driving a motor car. And if I select this entire cluster, remember shift control, I keep it up, control Y. So that's what you call overloaded motor car. So these are some of the ninja level tricks you should be using because that will help you save a lot of time. In fact, these are things I have put to use. I just summarize as the time gets closer by. I have discussed so many tricks on impact, on reducing the iteration. I'll quickly go them through very fast. You'll get all this material over the email. You'll get access to the recording of the webinar, and you can just improve on your writing by just going through these simple methods. One, how can you increase the impact? How can you have the right sentiment? So we spoke about skeleton building. We spoke about the SCQA model, situation, complexity, question and answer. I showed you real life examples which helped me get more business in my case. We talked about Mises principle. We spoke about how can it be used in scope documents. What will not be done is something you should be absolutely detailed when you're writing it. We talked about the different types of tricks that you can add impact with. So we used symbols. We used the trick to create this highlighter, de-highlighter, magnifier. We saw how to break a chart. We saw how to merge. We saw the Bain and Company report for having the right sentiment and painting a certain color. We saw how to write for LinkedIn. And I want you to leave with is something that saves 20 minutes every day. How many of you, when you had copied text from PDF and put this in Word and you ended up doing delete space? Well, the time should be going towards proposal writing rather than doing this mundane stuff and time consuming wasteful nature. How many of you faced this problem of delete space, delete space? Just type in DS. If you have got this problem, DS, even the last 1 month or week, just type in DS and I'll give you a trick which you'll remember for the entire years to come. Just write DS if you face this problem of delete space almost every now and then. Because if you face this problem, I'm going to give you a solution right now, which if clicked upon does this task in 1 simple second. All right, so I'm getting a lot of instances of DS. I think it's the time for me to share this trick. The first thing I'll do is I'll share the code that I've developed. It's a macro code. It's a macro code which I've explained in greater detail in my Word course. So when I go to my Word course, there's a whole section of macros in MS Word. People would have heard about Excel macros, no big deal. But if you know how to work with macros in Word, you can automate so many tasks. So let me now share immediately the code with you on a link which you can simply click and download right now. Give me a moment. Let me copy this entire thing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to a website called justpasteit.com. I'll put my text there. It allows me to publish this and put this link so that you can also get this code right away. What I want to do is, before we leave for this today and close and conclude the session, I want you to have this. So I'm going to put a link on the chat window. On the chat window, please download this. Please download this and let me know once you did this, because with that small link, which is nothing but a macros code, you can do what I achieved in moments. Yes. Just tell me yes if you got the code. There's a link which I've pasted. And if you click on that link, you should be able to get to access to that set of codes. Please copy it entirely as it is, verbatim. Don't miss out on any letter. The first line should be sub and the last line should be end sub. Please copy that. If you had copied, just tell me yes, 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 and I'll show the last 2 minutes trick before I conclude. Okay. Right. So I'm going to share this with you. How do you copy? Oh, please open a Word document. I'm going to show you. I want that before you leave for today, you must have this code. So first things first, I'm going to delete this macro from my PC. Is everyone have copied the code? If yes, please open a Word document. This will only work in Word document. I'm assuming you've copied the code. Please go to view. Okay, that's step 1. Next, go to macros window. View macros. Yes, I'm hovering my cursor. Please go to view macro and you'll find an empty box there. Do exactly as I say. Write any dummy name such as test or ABC. You can also write Yoda. Right? No spaces. Just write a dummy name. Make sure that the choice of option that you select from the drop down is normal.dotm or global template. Global template. In the chat window, I've already shared the link. I'll share the link again. Please, all of you who have not copied the code, you can click on that link. You can get the link right away. Right. I'm assuming you have reached till this point. Yoda, normal.dotm, click on create. Instantly, you will be taken to a code window in Microsoft Word. In Microsoft Word, you'll see some line items like these. I want you to get rid of it. Simply delete them. Done. Pausing for a few seconds. I'm pasting it right away. Control V. Now, I must have had copied the code before doing so. So all of you, those who have copied the code from the link given, you must paste it right now. And it should look like this. It should look like this, right? Don't worry about saving this because it's a live environment. Since you chose normal.dotm or global template, it's a live environment. So almost towards the end of today's session, I want you to leave this macro. So if you have pasted it, simply close this big window so that you can return back to your Word document, which is there in the background. Please go back, close this out, right? Now, if you have pasted the code, can you please check once, going to macros, view macro. Does it say no more delete space? It will be a quick check. If you did see this name here, you're almost there. Trust me, friends, you're almost there. So I'm calling this NMDS, no more delete space. Did you like the no more delete space? You'll tell me in some moments, but first you check. You go to view, you go to macro, and you see view macro. Do you have this? Do you have this no more delete space mentioned there in the window? If yes, let's experiment. Just write some text material, press enter, write some text material, enter. Now, you may not have the actual data, so hence I am giving you this raw material, right? You may just write some half-assert text with pressing enter. Now, before you apply this code, I must leave you with a small smiley button on the top left. So do exactly as I say. You go to the drop down of the top left corner. This is called quick access toolbar. Just like save and undo, I want you to have access to a button which runs this macro. So go to this drop down and choose more commands. Yes, more commands. This is the ninja level of Word that you'll get to. More commands. If you put more commands, you'll get this window. I'm just pausing so that you can reach to more commands. Right. In more commands, under quick access toolbar, choose macros. Choose macros. If you choose macros, you will instantly get access and view the macro which you had developed and pasted in the right position. If you see this, don't think twice, just click on add. Just like undo, redo, save, you'll have another button coming up called no more delete space. That's a macro which we had copied and pasted. And before clicking on OK, you must click on modify, my friends. You must click on modify. Why? Because this will allow you to bring a very attractive icon, smiley. That's my favorite. I put OK. And this is very well concluded steps, because as soon as you get the smiley and you press OK, your computer has now got that code. Even if you reboot your PC, you can apply. Let me see if it works. I click here at the beginning of my document always and click on the smiley. Done. So let me actually show you exactly where I had used it long time back. I was working on a hydropower plant project, financial modeling, and I was copying some text so frequently and pasting it in Word that I got annoyed, absolutely annoyed. My work is writing proposal, making research, not this formatting. I put my cursor at the beginning, I click on smiley, and there you go. The work is done. So there, my friends, I want to leave you with this happy smiley, and this is what Yoda learning courses are all about. We bring you the best and the most rarest tricks of Excel, PowerPoint, VBA macros, you name it, Word, Outlook. You get access to so many courses. New ones are getting added up. So don't forget, for the next 24 hours, you can get access to these courses lifetime for just $200. I hope you loved it. I hope this macros applied to your computer. And if I had more time, I would have shown you the entire procedure to make that macro, but don't worry, this is there in my course in the MS Word. If you really want to get to that ninja level tricks which I shared with you, this is just the tip of the iceberg. There are 50 to 100 more things in each such course which you'll get access to. So you make use of this opportunity, become ninja, and I hope from tomorrow you'll not only become faster but more efficient in making proposals, writing, PowerPoint, and Word. So with this, I'll take your permission to take leave for the day. And thank you so much. Thank you all so much for coming and attending this session, giving me the motivation which I needed to see all your happy faces. Thank you so much. Yeah, so before I disconnect, just want to listen to your feedback. If you really loved it, just send me a smiley, and I know it'll make my day. So link will come to you very soon in your email. Hope you loved it. Thank you so much. Thanks Srinath. Thanks Victoria. Thanks Jay. Thanks Yash. Thanks Srinath. Thanks Mitesh. Thanks Chandrasekhar. So I'll take your permission. Have a great day or night ahead, depending on the geography you belong to. And I will conclude the session now. Thank you so much.